Hello, my name's Jan Wood. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee Break. And today my special guest is Anne from the Women's Electoral Lobby.
Good morning.
And our special topic is the Edna Ryan Awards.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm a great fan of the Edna Ryans, and I've filmed all of them since the year 2000. Can you tell everybody what is an Edna Ryan Award, please?
Okay. Edna Ryan was a very active feminist who died in 1999.
I think it was 1997.
Okay. We'll have to research on the date when she actually died. Edna did a great deal of work towards equal pay in Australia, and she put forward feminist case in the federal court for women to get equal pay, and that was in 1972. She had a lot of areas of interest, but equal pay was the main one. When Edna died, we thought it was a great opportunity to keep her memory alive, and also the fact that equal pay hadn't been achieved. And the Edna Ryan Awards were created, and there were a number of areas of Edna's particular interest where awards were to be given, such as community services, education, communication, and so forth.
Okay. Now, I first found out about the Edna Ryan Awards in the year 2000. In February 2000, Gail Hewson rang me up. She was from the Feminist Bookshop to say that she'd nominated me for an Edna Ryan Award. So, would you like to come back in time, 14 years?
Whoa, that's a bit scary.
And the ageing process is just so in my face.
Oh, dun, 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 dun.
Creativity can be a solitary existence. But she did something about it. First, she established a network of women artists, started a newsletter, invented the travelling suitcase exhibition of women artists, which has now been to Grafton, New Zealand, the Northern Rivers of New South Wales, Tasmania, many parts of Sydney, to the People's Republic of China, the United States and the United Kingdom. In this very creative community activism, tonight's award winner then began a women's film archive and launched new books on feminist artists, developed a women artists TV show, organises the Earth Women Environment Exhibition and Women and Earth Conference, and also the Women Earth Conference and Film in Russia. So we've got people tonight who are extending from the local to the global. This year, our award winner has now completed 26 episodes of the School of Women Artists Network, SWAN, for community television, and is part of 2 exchange exhibitions at the Sydney College of the Arts and as you can see, tonight's award winner for community activism operates very much within the local global community. She is an inspirational community activist whose commitment to women and the environment and to women artists has met with the creative feminist responses wherever she goes. She is trying to change the ways we look at the world as creative feminists. May I present to you Jan Wood from the School of Women Artists Network. Jan.
It made me sound so good.
Actually, I
was thinking of myself in the third
talk
person.
into the mic, Jan.
Yeah, I thought this person's been so busy, and I'm forgetting it was me. So can I have 2 minutes to tell a little story? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I wanted to tell a little story about validation and invalidation. Now, one of my swans, Joy Barrett, is curating the Travelling Suitcase exhibition. She can't be here tonight because she's in Melbourne. But she rang me up about 5 or 6 weeks ago and she said, Jen, do you know what you've done? And I go, no. She says, you have done something so extraordinary. I have never seen a thing like this travelling suitcase, where it is I've never seen a place where women can talk in a woman's voice from a woman's heart in a very safe place. And you have hundreds and hundreds of these in your collection. So she said, what you've done, you have validated a women's life experience, wherever these suitcases have gone. But she said, not only have you done that, but all those people that you filmed, and I must have filmed hundreds of people in my archives, she said, what you've done, you've validated their experience as well. You've said to them, your story is important, and, so I was a bit chuffed, and I hadn't really looked at it like that, so I did go away and think about it, and I thought how important it is that we validate each other, and how we validate what women do, because so many of the things that women do are invalidated. The whole patriarchy with its invalidation of the mothering, its invalidation of, don't get me started, because you know all that anyway. But anyway, in the fit of that, feeling validated like that, and it was so nice. At the same time, it was a few days later, I began to feel terribly invalidated. Something happened to me that really hurt my feelings, and it hurt because I hadn't realised before about the validation and the invalidation thing. And so I thought back over the last 10 years and all the work that I've been doing, and I thought to myself, quite often it's women who invalidate other women. And when you think, now I'm researching the suffragette movement, and I thought to myself, well really, the women didn't get the vote. Women didn't get into Parliament because women wouldn't elect them in there. Women wouldn't go to a female doctor because they thought the male doctor was smarter. So there's a whole big undercurrent in our collective consciousness that is all back to front to how it should be. Anyway, I was in the depths of despair. I'm really getting to the end of my story. I was a real dark despair day, and I was sitting there and I thought to myself, oh, it's not worth it, I can't do it anymore, this is too much. And in the middle of it, Gail Hewison ran up and she said, I've nominated you for Edna. And the sun came out. And I was around at the feminist bookshop so fast with my newsletter, I was so embarrassed. But anyway, I wanted to thank you. And I wanted to thank the people who actually started the Ednas. I see it as a very, very important thing that you're doing here tonight. Women's electoral lobby, may I take my hat off to you. I think this is a very important and wonderful event. Anyway, and I'd like to just thank two more people, which is my mum, who's the sponsor on my TV show, and she has been such through it all, my mum has validated everything that I've done. And so is my husband, who's my best friend, and I really have cost the poor guy a fortune. But thank you. And I just wanted to say one more thing. Right on, sisters.
My name's Jan Wood and you're watching Coffee Break, and my special guest today is Barber from the Women's Electoral Lobby. Now, our special topic today is the Edna Ryan Award. Now, I first found out about them in the year 2000 when my crew took the cameras to UTS.
That's right.
And I interviewed you.
That's right.
Would you like to come and have a look at you in the year 2000?
Absolutely. I think it would be really interesting.
My name's Jan Wood and welcome to today's program. Tonight we're here at the UTS building in Harris Street for the annual Edna Ryan Award. And we're very lucky to have one of the organisers, and Barber here, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what is the Edna Ryan Award. So, what's an Edna?
Well, the Ednas were created, first of all, to keep the memory of Edna Ryan alive, because she was such a fantastic feminist and did such a lot for women. We were going to do it. We considered that too many times we wait till people have died before we start to say thank you to them. So, in the memory of Edna, plus we were going to honour the memory of Edna, as well as congratulate women for the activity, their activism, for what they're doing for feminists today, while they're still alive, while we can stand and cheer them and they know that we appreciate the work that they're doing.
That is a really good idea. Now, you thought this up, the annual Edna?
Well, we talked about wanting, and we should have done it while Edna was alive, but we thought we needed something to keep her memory alive, because as soon as a person dies, we move on and the work that they've done disappears. So, yeah, we were talking about we needed to do something to celebrate.
And she was quite an extraordinary woman. She died at the age of 92 in 1998. 98. So this is only the third Edna.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now, Edna was a very well-loved woman, wasn't she?
Certainly as far as the women's electoral lobby was concerned. I think her influence was far wider than the women's electoral lobby, but she was very active in and certainly the work that she's known for is in the pay equity, the work that she did in the industrial relations arena, very much so, yes.
And see, her lifetime basically spanned half of white Australian history.
Very much.
That's a long, long time of political activism.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And she had a family that she had to work to support the family because life was very difficult. And so not only was she active in the industrial front from a feminist point of view, but she also was raising a family as well. But, I mean, it's a typical story of women everywhere, you know, that they raise a family plus.
I know, and a lot of work that women do, particularly like mothering and the unpaid work and the things for passion, isn't really appreciated by the mainstream. So I think that tonight it's a really lovely idea. I think that it's a really, really good thing.
Yes, it is. Well, we're very happy with it.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I hope that evening goes off without a hitch and we can look forward to many, many more Edna evenings.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne.
And you haven't changed at all. I think you look just the same.
I think you've got a great imagination, but thank you, Jen.
And here we've got an interview with Lyndall Ryan. Now, Edna had 3 children. So there's Lyndall, Julia, and
Robert, I think the son's name is.
And
Patrick.
Patrick, that's
Patrick,
right.
beg your pardon. Sorry, Patrick.
Well, now we're very lucky we caught a very special woman here. Her name's Lyndall, and she's one of Edna Ryan's daughters. So you're the Edna Ryan specialist.
I am an Edna Ryan specialist. I think there are lots of specialists in Edna Ryan, and so many people have so many different knowledges and memories of Edna, and particularly when she lived in Sydney, because her daughters and her son had grown up and left Sydney, and so Edna had this fabulous life as a full-time feminist activist in Sydney, and her children, we would come and visit from time to time and see what a fabulous life she was leading. So when I say I'm an expert, there are many people here tonight who are also experts.
All right. Well, I mean, she had a long life.
She had a very long life, and I'm in the process of writing her biography, so I'm learning a lot of things about Edna that I previously either had only inklings about. And so I've been talking to many people about her life and what Edna meant to all of these people. And I think I'm beginning to discover that she had an extraordinary energy, she had an extraordinary optimism, she had a belief that women could achieve anything, but she also had an agenda for change, which she, being a very politicised woman, was always pushing. You know, she saw that a woman working in an area where she could say, that woman could be doing a little bit more to push things along, whether it was in the arts, whether it was in the media, whether it was in politics, whether it was in the public service, whether it was in community groups. Edna always had a way of just nudging people along a bit further, and I think that was one of her exciting things. Also, she was very accessible. She lived for many years in the centre of the city and then in Glebe. People could always come and visit her. She could always be found. She could always give advice.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot of people would come to Edna for advice.
She was a great advice dispenser.
Very much a wise woman.
She was, and by then she was in her 80s and very experienced, and whatever the issue was, she could provide advice, and I think that many people, really appreciated that. She also knew vast numbers of people. She knew a lot of people in places where it mattered, so she could say, why don't you go and see so-and-so? That person will help you along.
Okay, so every year the Ryan family attend the Edna Ryan Awards ceremony.
Yes.
Now, up until recently, the Edna Ryan Award was administered by the Women's Electoral Lobby.
That's right.
And you did a lot of work. I've filmed all the ones since 2000, and in the background with the unedited footage, there's you running here and running there and doing this and doing that and fixing microphones and all sorts of things. Amazing, the amount of work that you put in. And other people as well. The suppers in the women's movement are famous. My name's Jan Wood and you're watching Coffee Break, and my special guest is Anne Barber from the Women's Electoral Lobby.
Hi everyone.
Now, Anne, one of my current passions is promoting the Bechdel test. You know what the Bechdel is?
Remind me.
Okay. In the 70s, there was a feminist who designed the Bechdel test. Bechdel, if you'd like to Google it. And she devised this test to be applied to films. So there's 3 criteria. Are there 2 or more women in it? Mm-hmm. Now, you would be surprised how many movies fail that first question. Second question, are the 2 women friends? You would be surprised how many films fail that one.
Not friends, yeah.
And the third question is, do they talk about anything apart from a man? Now, when you Google this, you can see how few films pass this test. And when you understand the Bechdel test, it becomes glaringly obvious how women are misportrayed in film. And I believe that the human race is actually bereft because of this. Women don't have positive role models in films, and men don't have positive role models of women either. It just creates such a skew-whiff thing.
That's right.
And I don't even think the people who make the film set out to do it deliberately. I think it's subconscious in our patriarchal indoctrination.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. It's really disconcerting. And also, how many women subscribe to this as well, that women can't see what is happening, and sometimes they go along with it. you know, a bloke says it, so it must be true.
Yeah.
And that's spooky stuff.
Yeah, okay, guess what? We passed the Bechdel test.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, Anne Barber has made an enormous contribution to the Sydney women's movement. And you're the sort of person who does the behind the scenes. Anne works behind the scenes.
That's where I'm more comfortable, behind the scenes.
And every year I want to nominate her for an Edna, but she won't let me. But I tell you what, this year I am. Will you let me?
No. No, I've got to be consistent. I've got to be consistent. No, I think not being an active in the field feminist, being a supporter and a backroom person, and I'm not putting my effort down. I think the effort is important and it keeps the world turning. But I think more important are the role models, the people who are in the public eye, who are heading up the marches, who are doing the speaking. And I think it's really important that we support these people and we give them the honour that they deserve.
I know, Anne, because women's history largely goes unrecorded. And there are I even had a young woman ring me the other day and she was very upset. She said there are no strong role models of women in the media, or very, very few, that the young women can relate to. And we are so bereft by this arrangement.
That's right. We've got some in the women's electoral lobby. We've got a bunch of really active feminists. So they are there. They are out there and working really, really hard. The fact they're not gaining attention, it's the patriarchy, it's the media system. Yes. So we are having to communicate by means other than mainstream media, you know, through the Fairfaxes and the whatever. So we've got websites, we've got newsletters, and we've got a bunch of really strong young feminists who are working in well. So come on the website, join the newsletter. But I think it's also useful to say that when I talk about my favourite, everyone, it's really, really hard. The ones I've nominated are the ones who make me laugh, the ones who make me cry, but everyone is brilliant.
And the point is, the person who is nominated it's for work in feminism.
That's right.
They have to be working in a feminist way.
That's right. It's not a businesswoman who does really well and becomes a multimillionaire if she's not also a feminist. A feminist is caring about other women and helping other women in either a direct or an indirect way, and that is a feminist.
Good description, Anne.